This vessel was temporarily moored in Kailua Bay, and I guess they didn't feel confident about riding out the weather in Kailua Bay, so they left their mooring. And plan was either to head out to sea and ride it out, or perhaps head to Kauai High Deep Draft Harbor, but they didn't make it there, so I guess they were just riding it out at sea. The vessel came aground maybe about 40 yards from shore. The bow was facing south and the stern basically north, so kind of parallel to the shoreline here. Saturday morning when I arrived, the boom was already off, or the mast was already off. The Salvage, Sea Engineering handled the salvage, and their plan was to either, they had three phases, lift and or pull the vessel onto shore, and they described it as munching it up or just compacting it, putting it in a dump truck. If they couldn't reach it or if they couldn't drag it safely to shore, third plan was to lift it out with a chopper, but that wasn't necessary.
You know, it's been a week or so since the grounding, so it gets a little difficult to work out here and look for fresh wounds, say on corals or on hard rock and such. But it's a bench area, so the good news is we wouldn't anticipate sort of catastrophic coral community damage. It's scattered meandrina heads, not very dense, and some little body here and there. So the basic game plan today was just kind of do a more or less a recon and start working in from the area closest to the beach where we can access, and then see if we can find if there's any sort of pathway leading out that would be described by some kind of damage or debris and such. And if need be, then quantify if there is something besides sort of just incidental contact and so forth. But in the past, in situations like this, in these kinds of environments with groundings, we've been pleasantly surprised. The boats, particularly when they come in under unusual conditions, tend to not be catastrophically destroying coral reef habitat. So that's what we're hoping we find today as well.
Tell something scraped through.
Uh-huh.
We found another area where there's some boulders and there's definitely a lot of debris. Nothing that much. The question is, do you want us to go in with a camera and take some pictures, or?
Well, the scrape is just on the bench itself.
Yeah. And all you're seeing is just a pink little white to know that it's, you know, gone through. It's even hard. I mean, you can see it, but it's hard to see.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, something from the galley.
There's a lot, I mean, obviously the kitchen scrape, there's like knives and forks and spoons, and there was a thing of pasta and...
Thing of pasta?
Yeah.
Oh, bag of pasta.
Bag of pasta.
Anything that looked like medical stuff?
No.
No.
A lot of kitchen stuff. Pans.
What's the bottom like in there?
So it's just mostly cement with a few rubble, little bit of meandrina, not a whole lot. I saw one meandrina that has a couple of fingers scraped around the area that they're scraped, but it's hard pressed.
We are research scientific divers. We're not a debris removal team. Obviously, if it's a piece of sail or somebody's bathing suit or something, we could probably remove it. But you know, we're not really set up to be lifting sheets of fiberglass or paneling or any of the boat, you know, superstructure or masts or things of that sort. So we would just report, okay, there's some of this stuff that could potentially cause damage if it's loose and rolling around, and you know, a commercial dive team would have to deal with that.